The Highway Trust Fund, which funnels federal money to state transportation projects, is currently running out of money, and it will be totally insolvent at some point this summer. So this is certainly a cause for concern. It could cost the economy as many as 700,000 construction jobs within just 1 year. Over the course of 1 year, we'd lose 700,000 construction jobs. There are 112,000 road projects and 5,600 transit projects that are going to be delayed as a result of this. And according to the Congressional Budget Office, to simply keep the fund flush with money, we would need to get between $13 billion and $18 billion a year into it. Now, the different ideas that they're bouncing around as to how to do that is to chain the gas tax to inflation in order to, right now it's about 18 cents per gallon. If they chain it to inflation and made it equal to what it was in, I think, 1994, it would be about 24 cents a gallon. So that's one thing that they're considering, although that most likely wouldn't get through Congress anyway because it's majority Republican. And the other thing they're saying is, well, we could just reallocate some sort of funds in the budget as it is right now. Now, that's the approach that I actually prefer more. But the sad reality is that Congress is probably going to block any moves on this, and they're just going to let the fund go bust. So here are the two main factors about this story that will piss me off to no end, and this is the primary reason why I even decided to bring it up and talk about it on the show. First of all, our roads, as you guys already know, because we've done so many stories where we bring up this fact, they have a grade of D from the American Civil Society of Engineers, which releases a report card on the state of our infrastructure every few years. They got a fucking D. Isn't that amazing? Our roads in the United States of America got a D. This is from the country that always screams about how we're number one and we lecture other nations about how to act. Meanwhile, our fucking roads are crumbling underneath us. I mean, if you've ever seen the documentary The Crumbling of America, which they play every once in a while on like the Science Channel and the Discovery Channel and a few others, National Geographic, I highly recommend it. It's called The Crumbling of America. It's a great documentary that goes into incredible detail about just how fucked we are with our infrastructure. I mean, the numbers on it are amazing. So, for example, they talk about how the number of bridges in the country is totally disproportionate to the number of bridge inspectors, to the point where we have bridges that have just flat out never been inspected. Isn't that amazing? We have bridges that have never been inspected in the country. We have ones that are falling apart that are still used. So many are classified as structurally deficient or, even worse than that. And our infrastructure overall gets a D+. So there's almost no bright spots in that conversation. And the argument that we're having is whether or not to keep the spending at the same level. Isn't that amazing? The conversation is, hey, should we, let the fund go bust? Or should we just put it back to the normal levels where we're fucking treading water? Okay? The conversation isn't, maybe we should improve it. Maybe we should make it better, with the economy being in the dumps and all, and poverty rising, and the war on the middle class, and, still a relatively high level of unemployment. You think maybe we could do a new deal and upgrade our infrastructure to get the grade of A? I mean, there's so much work to be put into our infrastructure and our roads and our bridges and all that stuff, and we're not even having the conversation of actually trying to make it number one in the world. See, I'm somebody, maybe I'm a naive optimist, but I'm of the belief that we should try to get our infrastructure to leapfrog every other infrastructure in the world and make it number one again. I not only want to get it back to a level where it's decent and that we're not embarrassed by it, I want to be number one in the world. Like, I actually want to be number one. But again, we're not even having that conversation. The conversation is, hey, should we continue to tread water or should we just let it go bust? And the side of letting it go bust is winning the debate right now. Now, the second fact is that we spend between $13 and $18 billion every 2 months in Afghanistan, and nobody says anything about the costs. Republicans and Democrats alike. Nobody says anything about, hey, maybe from just a flat-out fiscal conservative perspective, We could not continue to fight a ridiculous war where there's no way of winning it and you can't even define winning. Nobody mentions the cost of that. But when we're talking about between $13 and $18 billion a year, okay, now all of a sudden everybody's concerned about cost because that's for roads. So if it's for roads, we can't afford between $13 and $18 billion a year. But if it's for war, nobody even brings up the fact that it's between $13 and $18 billion every 2 months.